Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Calvin Tobin Show. I am your host, Calvin Tobin. Today we have a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. All right. The Los Angeles Lakers season is officially over as the Denver Nuggets have swept them in the Eastern Conference Finals, with Game 4 having the final score of 113 to 111. And now the Denver Nuggets are heading to their first NBA Finals in franchise history. And for the Denver Nuggets, Nikola Jokic kept on making history all playoff long, and in the final game, in Game 4 of the Los Angeles Lakers Denver Nuggets series, Nikola Jokic got his 8th triple-double, which then gave him his 4th career playoff triple-double. And Nikola Jokic has been so dominant this playoff series that he's been on, and because of the 8 triple-doubles that he has got so far in this playoff run, he now has made history by passing an all-time great for most triple-doubles in one playoff run. And who he passed was none other than the great Wilt Chamberlain, as he had 7 in the 1966-67 season. And the fact that it took 56 years for someone to finally break it, and now it's finally happened, just goes to show how dominant Wilt Chamberlain truly was back in his day. As for the Lakers, their season is far more impressive than we all are realizing, because this Lakers team started off the season 2-10, and nobody was expecting them to even make the play-in, and they still barely made the play-in. And from there, they went all the way to the Western Conference Finals. But even though that they got swept, we do need to give them more credit than we are all giving them right now. But in Game 4 with the Lakers, in that first half, LeBron James went off for 31 points, and he ended up finishing the game with 40 points, 10 assists, and 9 rebounds. The Lakers should have had this game because in that first half, they were pushing the ball down Denver's throat the entire way. They were winning off the glass. They were going on scoring runs, and they were keeping Denver inefficient all the way up until halftime. And they ended up having a 15-point lead over them at halftime. And then once that third quarter hit, the Denver Nuggets made a complete fool out of the Lakers, and the Nuggets have Nikola Jokic to thank for that, because he helped the Nuggets outscore the Lakers 36-16 in that third quarter, and he was a big part of that too by getting 13 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists of his 30-point, 14 rebound, 13 assist triple-double game. And but the fourth quarter was the real battle between the Lakers and the Nuggets, because this is where these guys were going shot for shot the entire way, and it went down to who had the ball last. And the Lakers did end up having the ball last, but LeBron James wasn't able to finish the job for the Lakers to be able to tie the game. But that wasn't solely on him, even though he had the ball last, because when Nikola Jokic scored the game-winning shot to make it 113 to 111, when he did that, there was 51 seconds left on the clock, and they had plenty of time to be able to tie the game or have a go-ahead basket to help themselves push this game to Game 5, which it should have gone that way. But Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets stepped up in that second half, especially in that third quarter, and now the Denver Nuggets are going on to the NBA Finals. Now, after Game 4, Nikola Jokic ended up winning the Earvin Magic Johnson Western Conference Finals trophy, MVP trophy, and he rightfully so deserved it because of the 8 triple-doubles that he has had on this playoff run, and he got 3 of those in the Lakers series, and he averaged a triple-double the entire time. And he almost had 4 straight triple doubles in this series, but fell short a couple assists and a couple rebounds in game 3. And he averaged 27 points, 14 rebounds, and 11 assists in this series. And now the Denver Nuggets are going on to their first NBA Finals in their franchise history. But now, when it comes to dominance, when it comes to dominance, everybody always thinks of the all-time greats and what they did for the accolades in their career. And an all-time athlete, an all-time great, and an all-time scorer named Carmelo Anthony just announced his retirement on social media, and he ended up playing 19 seasons in his career. And he played for 6 teams, with the majority of his career playing for the New York Knicks and the Denver Nuggets. Now, the thing with Carmelo Anthony is that he's going to go down as one of the greatest players to never win a championship, but he almost got there in 2008 as he took the Denver Nuggets himself all the way to the conference finals. Now, with Carmelo Anthony, Melo's best part of his game was his one-on-one game going against anybody, because anybody that he went against, he took it to everybody, and none of the players liked it because they had no chance of stopping this dude, because he was a force to be reckoned with that one-on-one issue that he had, or dominance that he had. Carmelo Anthony took it to Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, LeBron, Shaq, D-Wade, Kobe. He took it to everybody. And over the course of Melo's career, he ended up averaging 22.6 rebounds and 2 assists. And he ended up averaging 28 points in 3 separate seasons. Almost 4, but fell 0.6 points short in the 2014-2015 season. And out of how great Melo could score, the best game that he ever had was his 62-point game against the Charlotte Bobcats in 2014. And it's still the greatest game in Madison Square Garden history, because nobody has scored more points than him in that stadium. But the legends have came close, like Curry scored 54, Jordan scored 55, Harden and Kobe scored 61, but Melo was the one that ended up on top by scoring 62. Now, overall in Carmelo's career, he was a 10-time All-Star, a 6-time All-NBA player. He also was the scoring champ in 2012, and he was also named to the 75th all-time NBA anniversary team. And to top it all off, Carmelo Anthony ended up scoring 28,000 points in his career, and he is one of 9 players to score 28,000 or more points, falling a couple hundred points short of Shaq. And there is a point at the end of Carmelo's career where nobody was trying to sign him, and if people ended up signing him, there's a chance he could have come close, if not surpassing 30,000 points himself. Now, there is one question that needs to be asked though. Both Nikola Jokic and Carmelo Anthony have both worn 15 for the Denver Nuggets organization. And if Jokic ends up retiring a Nugget, whose name is going to end up going in the Raptors with 15, or are both of them going to get the credit? Now, the name that has been speaking loudly all over hockey playoff in the 2023 Stanley Cup playoffs is the Florida Panthers, and what they've been doing has been winning non-stop, because ever since Game 5 of Round 1 against the Boston Bruins, they have only lost one time, having a record of 10-1 since then. The only loss they had was Game 4 against the Toronto Maple Leafs, where they lost 2-1, and since then they still haven't lost from there, because now they're on a 4-game winning streak. Now, with what the Panthers have done over that 11-game span is score 35 goals in that span, and it just continues to keep rocking and rolling. But what the more impressive part is their defense, because they are hardly letting anybody score. Before the playoffs started, they were one of the worst scoring defenses in the league, allowing 3.3 goals a game, which was the 21st best in the entire league, which is a bottom 10 defense. But here's the thing: come playoff time, they turned it up a notch and cut that by 0.7, putting it down to 2.6 goals per game. Now, here's the thing. The reason that this is so impressive is that because no one expected Florida to do this at all. We were all expecting them to barely possibly make the playoffs because of what they did in the 2022 offseason. They lost a few star players and a lot of key players that helped them get to 58 wins. Last year, which ended up being a franchise record. And the players that they ended up losing was Huberdeau, Uyghur, Giroux, Johansson, and Marchment. But they only gained Matthew Tkachuk out of everybody that they lost. But here's the thing: the Florida Panthers are now up 3-0 on the Carolina Hurricanes in the Eastern Conference Finals, and now and they're outscoring the Carolina Hurricanes 6-3. And Matthew Tkachuk, even though he was the only good player to gain out of everybody that they lost, he has been a part of every single game-winning goal that has been in this series versus the Carolina Hurricanes. Back-to-back overtime goals in games 1 and 2, and assisted Sam Reinhart on his goal that he got against Frederik Andersen, and it was the only goal that was scored in Game 3. In Game 3, the Florida Panthers and the Carolina Hurricanes were fighting every single inch of that game, fighting for that puck. And this game could have gone to overtime, if not more than one, for how much they were fighting for that puck. Blocks happening everywhere, struggling to be able to put a shot on the goal and being able to make it accurate as well. But Sam Reinhart was able to sneak that goal in past Frederik Andersen on a power play to help the Panthers win the game 1-0. Now, with the Carolina Hurricanes, they were more productive on the offensive side in this game. They were putting up more shots. They were winning and capitalizing off turnovers and miscues by the Florida Panthers, giving themselves more scoring chances, but they just could not score whatsoever. And here's the thing: even though that it was only one goal scored by Florida, they were doing more with less because they only needed to shoot 17 times to win that game. Now, also, with Carolina being up 3-0, they have their goalie, Sergei Bobrovsky, to thank hugely for that, because he has faced 135 shots and has allowed only 3 goals out of the entire series, which gives him a .977 save percentage, averaging and allowing 1 goal a game. The dude is just getting better as time goes on. And here's the thing with Florida: for how dominant they are, at the beginning of the playoffs, when they had to face the greatest regular season hockey team in NHL history at 12-5, everyone was expecting that series to be a complete sweep, and then Florida completely shocked everybody by coming back from a 3-1 deficit. And now the fact that the Florida Panthers are up 3-0 on the Carolina Hurricanes, it's not as wild anymore as if you would have said it in round 1. I think that the Florida Panthers, if they keep up this dominance, that they will win the Cup, whether or not they face Dallas or Las Vegas. And here's the thing: there's also a good chance that Florida could sweep Carolina, because if anybody has saw any highlights from what how the Carolina Hurricane players were behaving after the game was over, it looks like that the Panthers are severely in Carolina's head. So that might give Florida an easier chance to be able to sweep the Carolina Hurricanes and push themselves into the Stanley Cup. All right, that's the end of the Calvin Tobin Show. Please subscribe to my channel at Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss out on any sports media. And please follow me on Instagram at Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss out on any sports news whatsoever. And I'm out.